Max, this is my design project. So I actually chose a really interesting user group of people who shop on a regular basis for other families, such as housekeepers, live-in nannies, or just general helpers. What was really interesting that I found out pretty instantly upon interviewing was that they really like shopping, and not only that, but they're really good at shopping, and that made it all the more fun through going through the design process of trying to help them out in their shopping experience. So I quickly was able to come up with some point of views. They have a lot of amount of friends in the store, which I was surprised to find. They have consistent routines, and they really don't want their time in the store to be shorter because they're getting paid for it anyways. It's part of their job. So ideating the concepts was the hardest part. I combined two of my favorite point of views and got some buzzwords, and I was really happy when I came up with my 100th idea. That was probably the best moment in my design process, but I was actually really surprised to find that any really good ideas came after the halfway point, because it became so much more difficult after 50 ideas to come up with quality things. So I have my best three, and I brought them to my user group, and they ended up telling me that the best experience they thought would be a program where they could shop for another person that had similar lists to them, and they would get reimbursed some way with a point system or some sort of monetary value. And so the most fun part of the process was actually coming up with the prototypes. I had a lot of fun. I found a shopping cart and I got to really do it, and that was actually the most eye-opening, because as I was making the layouts and as I was making the different prototypes, I quickly found that my original idea of side saddle wasn't going to work because it was too cumbersome. And what I also found was that something that the ladies thought was going to be the hardest part, which was finding new items, was actually not going to be too hard, because when I worked with them to come up with the best idea of how to find these new items, we came up with an idea that they thought was actually going to work, with a light system and a GPS coordinate, so they knew when they were close to the item and they could scan to make sure it was the right one. Thanks. Goodbye.